100 federal troops, requested, armed, and heading for Chicago. That chilling line didn't come from a rumor. It came from a Pentagon request delivered to Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker just last week. Within hours, Chicago's Mayor Lori Lightfoot fired back with a sharp message: "We will not let our neighborhoods be occupied." What began as an immigration enforcement dispute has now escalated into a high-stakes confrontation over federal power, local authority, and the future of America's so-called sanctuary cities. The Trump administration's plan is straightforward and controversial. Embed military police alongside ICE agents to track down undocumented immigrants with prior convictions. Federal officials argue that Chicago's sanctuary policies let dangerous offenders slip through the cracks. Local leaders counter that this is intimidation dressed up as law enforcement, an aggressive show of force meant to score political points. For the first time, the question is not just whether the federal government can enforce immigration law, but whether it can put boots on a city's streets when the city itself says no. Chicago's sanctuary stance has been on the books since 2012. Local police are barred from detaining people solely for civil immigration violations, and federal agents can't tap into city databases without a warrant. That's cost the city millions in withheld grants before. But this time, the penalty isn't dollars, it's soldiers. For city leaders, that changes the fight from financial pressure into a battle over physical presence in their neighborhoods. The players are lined up clearly. On one side, President Trump and his immigration team calling sanctuary cities havens for lawbreakers. On the other, Governor Pritzker and Mayor Lightfoot, freshly elected with strong local support, insisting Chicago won't back down. Both sides are already using the standoff to fundraise and rally their bases, turning Chicago into a stage for a national ideological battle. According to internal memos obtained by Reuters, the Pentagon's outline involves embedding roughly 100 military police directly with ICE teams. Their job? Secure perimeters during raids so ICE agents can focus on arrests. City Hall's response was immediate. Lawyers began drafting restraining orders, and Chicago police were instructed not to cooperate with federal troops. In other words, both sides are digging trenches before a single soldier sets foot in the city. Constitutional experts say this fight pits the 10th Amendment against the Supremacy Clause. Federal law takes precedence, yes, but the Supreme Court has ruled before that Washington can't force local officers to do its bidding. Cities can't block federal agents either. That leaves a gray zone. Is deploying military personnel a legitimate federal mission? Or is it coercion that crosses a constitutional line? It's a question almost certain to land in court. Meanwhile, the fear on the ground is spreading faster than legal briefs. In immigrant neighborhoods, parents are keeping kids home from school. Churches have canceled language classes. Shops are closing early. Advocacy groups say even legal residents fear they'll be caught in sweeps by mistake. Social workers call it contagious anxiety. When fear takes hold in a community, normal life grinds to a halt. If you think it's important to follow how this standoff plays out, pause right here. Hit like so this reaches more people, and subscribe so you'll have updates the minute new moves are made. The stakes stretch well beyond Chicago. If this deployment happens, cities from Philadelphia to Denver could see similar orders. Republican governors would likely applaud it. Democratic mayors warn it would normalize a militarized presence on main streets across America. Legal scholars are already predicting a Supreme Court showdown that could redefine federal-state boundaries for a generation. For now, the soldiers exist only on paper, but legal teams are drafting, ICE is drilling, and immigrant families are bracing. Whether Chicago's defiance sparks a wider movement for local autonomy or buckles under federal pressure will shape more than just immigration policy. It could redraw the lines of American federalism itself in an age of deep political division. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to keep track of every step in this fight, and leave a comment. Is this about enforcing the law, or is it an abuse of federal power? I read everyone.